Hey guys, how's it going? It's Hastio here. So today I'm going to be talking about my experiences and transitions from playing on an arcade stick to a pad back to a fight stick. So it's all the same thing, fight stick or arcade stick, whatever you want to call it. So this is not a versus video, which one's better, why I should be using an arcade stick over a pad, vice versa. Everyone has their own preferences. There's pro players that play on both. So at the end of the day, that's a different story. There's lots of YouTube videos on that. So this video here is about my experience and of growing up playing on an arcade and then migrating over to a gamepad over a couple of consoles, and then to fast forward till today, picking up a Mad Catz TE2 stick and learning how to play on that again. So that's the point of the video, is to go through, share my experiences with you guys. So you guys, if you guys are in a situation where you want to maybe think about purchasing an arcade stick, that maybe you can take something away from this video to help you decide if going over from pad to stick is right for you. So let's get started. Well, going back, let's go way back, years and years and years ago. So Street Fighter 2, growing up as a kid, we all played it, or most of us played it. Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat. So I played a lot of cabinet games, a lot of arcade games, growing up. So that was fun. And then, on the consoles, Super Nintendo, Street Fighter 2 comes out, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition comes out. So I got my hands on that, love playing it. Obviously, there's a transition from playing on arcades to the consoles, so you're playing on your Super Nintendo pad. And then I moved over to King of Fighters 95 on the Neo Geo pad, so play with that. And then, throughout the years, so fighting games kind of like dropped off a bit for me. And then throughout the years, wherever, if there was an arcade or something like that, I'd pop in, play the odd arcade on the stick. And then fast forward a little bit more, Xbox 360, the announcement of Street Fighter 4, so the big hype there. I picked up Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD, played that on the pad. So that was going back to pad. I haven't played in a long time, so it took a while to get used to things. So I got used to it, played Samurai Showdown for a bit on the 360, then played Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4. So I had a lot of pad experience. So I would say my pad experience is probably, in hours played, was a lot more than what I had on a arcade stick, from growing up and whatnot. So I was really comfortable with pad. I liked pad, but always in the back of my mind was, I wish I had an arcade stick. And when I had the 360, I never really bit the bullet and got a Mad Catz stick. I couldn't justify the cost of it. So, anyways, fast forward 8 years later, Street Fighter 5 is coming out. I have a PS4. I'm like, maybe I should look at maybe getting a fight stick. So I did. So I went out, bought a Mad Catz 2, ordered it online, shipped it to me. I got it. I didn't get it in time for Beta 3, so I had it in time for Beta 4. So I modded it, put my octagonal gate in. I'm all happy. I'm all ready to play on my arcade stick. Bring that nostalgic feeling of when I played in arcades growing up as a kid. So I put good 8 hours into the Beta 4 with the stick. How did it go? Well, it was definitely a transition. So let me say that. Having many hours played on a pad, going back to an arcade stick is not an easy transition. So what happened? So character control was out the window, fireballs were out the window, uppercuts were out the window. Everything was extremely hard to execute. The problem with Street Fighter 5 beta, as you all know, is once you get into beta, you're automatically matchmaking, searching. So you really have no time to sit in training mode to practice your execution, practice your character control. So I'm pretty much going into these games getting my ass handed to me, really, because I could not do anything. So I felt like I took 10 steps back. I felt horrible. I'm like, oh my God. But it was fun playing on the arcade stick. I'm like, you know what? I just got to put the time into it. So after the 8 hours went by of, over the weekend, whenever I could to play, by the end of it, I was almost at the level of where I was with the gamepad. So it took about 8 hours to get, I would say, 80%, maybe 75% to where I was comfortable skill wise, execution wise on a gamepad, right? So it definitely, there is a transition. So, for people that are looking at maybe potentially getting an arcade stick, don't expect that you're just going to get it and everything is going to be peachy and you're just going to be, hitting all these infiltration combos. It's not going to work like that, right? You're going to have to put a lot of time um, back into learning on how to, play on an arcade stick. And if you've never played on an arcade stick, it's really just muscle memory, right? Playing on a pad, you're using your fingers, right? You're using your thumbs. Playing on an arcade stick, you're using your wrist a little bit. You're using your hands. You're using more of your fingers. There's more movement involved. There's more kinetic energy being expelled on your arcade stick. So you have to retrain all your muscle memories all over again on how to play on an arcade stick, right? So between the two, just for comparison, Beta 3 was under, just under 1,600 league points on playing on a pad, and then Beta 4, and I just finished with 1K. So I was progressively getting better and getting more comfortable, like I mentioned. Again, the league points doesn't really make a difference because, depending on who you face and whatnot, but just as a comparison. So at the end, which one do I like better? And which one, I prefer? And at the end of the day, I think it's the stick. I'm pretty sure it is the stick, actually. I will say it definitely is the stick for me. And this will differ for everyone. And the reason why I like the stick is because it's more fun, right? The analogy that I always, try to convey to people is, take a racing game, for example, right? You could play on a pad, or you could pick up a steering wheel and play on a steering wheel. So in your mind, which one's more satisfying? It's probably the steering wheel, right? Because it feels like you're driving the car, right? It feels like, you have that, that connection with the game with the steering wheel. So I feel like that analogy transfers over to Street Fighter, where when you play on an arcade stick, you have that direct control of your character with the fight stick, right? With the bigger buttons, right? Like everything is laid out very nicely for you. Where on a pad, everything is like crammed into one area, so it's like it's really hard to execute, at least for me, right? And just playing on an arcade stick, it's nice. It gets the blood flowing. You're moving. It's just more of a natural feeling to me, right? So that's really why I like the arcade stick. And moving forward, it's just a matter of putting time into it, retraining your muscle memories, and getting better at the game. And just like anything, you just put practice and time into it, and you're just going to get better, right? Regardless if you're using an arcade stick or using a pad, right? So that's pretty much the video, guys. So I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of my experiences over the years, growing up as a kid, going from a arcade to a pad, back to this Mad Catz T2 stick, and maybe you guys can relate to this, maybe you won't, maybe a portion of it will, you guys can relate to it. Either way, hopefully you take something away from this video, and so that you guys can maybe decide what would you like to, whether you want to stick pad or you want to go to and jump in and get the TE2. So anyways, guys, that's it for the video, and appreciate it if you drop a like. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't. That really helps me a lot. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy. Later.